You're listening to The Burning Truth. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, dude and dudettes, and children of all ages. Just a bit of a different introduction this week. I'm your host, Matt Burns, and of course, with me as always, I have got the ever-loving John Below.
Well, of all the introductions I've ever had, that was the most recent. Thank you very much. Hello.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Note to self. Before we're about to start the podcast, when Matt Burns says, going live, you're on the phone. Don't nod. He can't see you.
As my colleague,
so it's going to be today, folks.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, as my colleagues just mentioned, we are, as always, we are not in the same room, so there might be a bit of a delay from time to time, just so you know, because we are using the power of the internet and mobile technology.
Due to the wonders of modern technology, that may lead to the odd delay, and we may talk over each other a little bit. We don't mean to, but these things happen. Right, shall we get on with what's on today's show?
Yes, there is. However, there is something I've got to discuss in regards to recent events to do with wrestling, and of course, especially on social media.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Which is...
Please do elaborate.
Which is to do with the UKWA. Now, a lot of people are probably going to be asking on our social media. We released a post in regards to stating a fact, which is that there was a rumour going round that Lord Graham Thomas and Bubblegum were going to be joining the roster. Now, some may know, some may not know. There has been some controversy. There still is controversy around some of the names and everything, and there is certain backlash with them names. What ended up happening is it was stated for the record that Lord Graham Thomas, also known as LGT, and Bubblegum are not joining the roster in any shape or form at all. That discussion has never taken place and isn't going to be taking place. Just to make it clear, I just thought to make that much more clear with it being audio as well, and of course text can sometimes be misconstrued.
Indeed, it can.
What I will state is what ended up happening on Facebook. I understand there might be some misunderstandings and everything, and certain discussions that were taken from a closed group, and that some wording could have been corrected by me, either by myself or my business partner, Renee Voltaire, or and everything. But let me just state one thing. Straight. They are not joining at all, and as such, I will state that in future, everything will be cleared up. If anybody does have any questions for UKWA, if there's anything that they don't like or want to further discuss on this subject, they are more than welcome to either message myself, Renee Voltaire, message the page, or if they want to send an email, please send it to info@UK. I'll repeat that. That's info@UKWrestlingAlliance.com, and we will be happy to answer any questions, queries, or any grievances that you may have acquired or anything. But just to point out, yes, I understand that someone may have had a gear to grind on when that post went out. There is no malice towards them at all, and if they want to have a further discussion in regards to that, please just make us aware of it instead of making it public. That's all I
But with
ask.
that, yeah. And with that in mind, also,
Now-
if you're a fan of UKWA and you want any information about any upcoming shows, please be aware that unless you get the information from any of the UKWA social media pages or the website directly, it's not guaranteed to be true.
Or of course, if you see the posters, which will be going out soon, as they have actually arrived and will be hitting the streets very, 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 very soon. Just to point out, I just thought to let you know in regards to that. But just to state, with me stating, to further discuss this from the public, I am stating that as if they want to continue the discussion and basically everything, that's fine, but we are not hiding anything from the public at all either.
Which is what I said, if you want anything to be official regarding UKWA, check out either those running it or the show itself social media pages, and unless you hear it from them, don't take it as 100% true, because there's no guarantee that it will be.
And to state, certain checks are usually made, and if anybody did have a certain criminal record, as what was brought up, in what was implied and everything, yes, I can understand that there was some confusion. Yes, some evidence was provided to us stating innocence on one of them, but even so, we are still not booking them at all. And at the same time, what was happened, it was being brought to the attention. It was a discussion in possible regards to anybody, turning up to a show. Is it going to cause any controversy? If after that point the roster were not comfortable at it, it would have not gone any further. If it had done, it would have been most likely provided out to the public for them to decide on in regards to it, and whatever that choice would have been final, no matter what. It would not have been done at discreet, without anybody's prior knowledge. It's just what happened is on the first show, yes, there was a VIP in regards to it for the person. However, they had paid for a ticket and already, but the actual ticket name wasn't under them. It was only mentioned to put it down as that by somebody else. And let me just state this for the record, right? Not everyone knew what was, the information being provided, what was true and what's not. We cannot, and unfortunately, in this case, we've been sort of, been put in a bit of a bad situation, and I just thought I just wanted to set the record straight, because UKWA will have no part of having anybody who has a criminal, any offences of that nature whatsoever at all.
So if it has been proven in that case, then we'll have no part in them or no intention to have them as part of any shows now or in the future. Or
even if there's any current ongoing investigations, we would, in regards to the matter, they will not be.
While we're not passing judgment on them until we know for a fact that a judgment has been made, it's just that, we'll probably be steering clear to avoid any potential controversy.
And that is from myself directly. Right? That is from myself directly, and I'm pretty sure that Renee will agree with that decision as well. To just set the record straight. However, just to make one thing also clear, it doesn't go out unless it is actually stated publicly. Anything that is discussed behind closed doors is not 100%. When we state that they will not be booked or being part of the roster, that is 100% clear.
Yes, because that is out in the public domain. You've made a fairly clear statement there. They will not be booked. That can't be misconstrued in any way.
Right. So if anybody has any further questions, please send the email to us. Please send any messages. We will hopefully answer any questions, and if you have any issues or anything, we will be very happy to clear them up for you.
The aim, of course, is complete transparency.
Correct. Right. So
okay, bit of a heavy start there, but it feels good to have got that out in the open.
Pretty much, because this is something that's been... I couldn't think of a better way to explain it. And as much as I wanted to probably send out another message and everything, words can get twisted and everything.
Indeed.
And, you know, if anybody does want to have a discussion with me directly, they're more than welcome to. Just message me directly, or message Renee if you want to talk to either of us, or message us both, and we'll both be happy to answer any questions, any details in regards to the matter.
But please bear in mind, guys, he's running a successful wrestling company and a successful podcast. He may not respond immediately as he's a busy, busy man, but rest assured he will get around to it as soon as he possibly can.
No rest for the wicked.
Indeed. Ooh.
Anyway, let's
that
move
almost
on.
Segues into our next thing.
That almost does. It almost does. It definitely does. But anyway, let's move on to our next, onto a main topic, which is we've got to unfortunately discuss some NXT news.
We have. Some unfortunate news, which, for those of you who have the internet and who have already watched NXT this week, you'll know exactly what we're about to say. But for anyone that hasn't watched NXT yet,
apologies
spoiler
for the spoiler.
alert, we're going
Apologies
to
for the spoiler.
discuss what happened on NXT this week and its implications going forward. So if you want to possibly tune out and tune back in when you've watched NXT, we completely understand. But we are going to discuss what happened. So warning, spoiler alert.
Yes, which we are going to be revealing that spoiler in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Which is that Tommaso Ciampa is no longer NXT champion.
Tommaso Ciampa, the previous and reigning for, I believe, about 280 days, NXT champion, has relinquished the title because he was in need of, in fact, the surgery has already happened. He was in need of surgery on an issue with his neck. The surgery has already happened. He has already begun recovery. And so far, there have been no side effects. The surgery went well, and we wish him well for the future.
Correct, which is a topic that we have previously brought up, that he is injured, but we didn't know how bad it was. Unfortunately, it's that bad. But both myself and John, I'm pretty sure, will probably agree on this one. We're both actually quite happy that he, as much as we are saddened to see him vacate the title, but he is putting his health first.
Yeah, we're both happy that he's putting his health first, that the surgery was a success, and with a bit of luck, within the recovery time of anywhere between 7 and 10 months, he will come back and be able to resume his career.
And possibly more, to be honest with you. He could be out.
That's just the basic recovery time. To get back up to fully 100% could take as long as a year. Yeah. But either way, we hope that occurs, that he has a full recovery and resumes his career in NXT, much like Drew McIntyre did after his injury.
Well, he
moved on to the main roster.
He had some time off, but managed to jump back onto it.
Exactly. So we wish Tommaso Ciampa all the best.
Correct.
But that leaves open some intriguing possibilities going forward.
Yes, it does.
Because for those of you...
Go on.
Sorry, go on.
No.
For those of you who watched NXT this week, you will know that there was an absolutely epic main event on the show, which was a Fatal 5-Way match, pitting Adam Cole, Velveteen
Baby!
Dream,
Velveteen Dream.
Aleister Black,
Ooh.
Ricochet, and, oh, good lord, Aleister Cole, Velveteen Dream, Aleister Black, oh, hang on, Aleister Black, Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, Ricochet, and I can't think for the life of me who the fifth man was.
Come on, bro.
Ah, of course, the undefeated Matt Riddle.
Yes.
Which, for everyone who expected big things of that match, it delivered in spades. It was fantastic. It was everything you come to expect from an NXT match, but with the benefit of not having two people or two tag teams in it. It had 5 of the best performers in NXT at the moment. And, again, spoiler alert, the winner was set to go on to face Johnny Gargano, in case you're wondering why he wasn't mentioned in those 5, for
Correct.
the vacant NXT Championship at NXT TakeOver New York WrestleMania weekend.
Correct. Which is, a lot of people would have said, well, why didn't they do it on that NXT show? Nope. They are building it up properly.
They are. They're keeping the title vacant for the remaining 2 weeks until WrestleMania, and then the new champion will be crowned at the grandest stage of them all, or rather at NXT's WrestleMania show, NXT
Correct.
TakeOver New York.
Correct. And might I just add, though, Vacancy's got to be the most decorated champion ever.
Apologies, I had to sneeze. Apologies anyone who heard it in the background. Please say that again for my benefit.
That's fine. I believe that Bacon is considered the most decorated champion.
In WWE history, yes, without a shadow of a
in
doubt.
all of history.
In all of professional wrestling, indeed.
Correct. But joking aside, that will be an absolute stellar match. You know,
Oh,
completely.
I don't think I've actually mentioned, to complete the spoiler alert, the 5-way was won by Adam Cole, who
Baby.
will face Johnny Gargano. Please stop.
What?
The sooner that catchphrase dies, the better for everyone involved.
It's got to be done.
Well, yeah, I personally hate it, but I am, with every passing day, more aware that I'm in the minority with that. That doesn't mean I
You
particularly
might
like
be,
it, but you know.
the difference is if you hate him, he's doing his job.
No, nothing against Adam Cole. He's just nothing.
Baby.
I don't hate him. I don't like him. But that catchphrase makes me hate him.
As it may do. Everyone hates a villain or someone who...
Ooh.
Go on.
Yeah, little interesting idea. Booking idea for next year's Mixed Match Challenge.
Go on.
And a way to make me possibly like that catchphrase.
Go on.
The tag team of Adam Cole and Bailey.
Adam Cole, Bailey.
Interesting thought, no? It'll probably never happen. But anyway, I just thought I'd put that
Believe it
out
or
there.
not, if that ever happens, we called it.
Yes. We
That's
did.
genius. That's genius.
You are welcome, sir.
You're welcome. And Vince, if you do steal our idea, please send a check to the Burning Truth. But anyway,
Indeed.
that
Yeah.
aside, that actually, the fact that you got, Adam Cole, Baby, versus Johnny Gargano, for the
Johnny
NXT.
Takeover.
Yeah, pretty much. Johnny Takeover. And
For the
let's
NXT
just,
Championship. Yeah.
for the NXT Championship at WrestleMania weekend. Speaking of WrestleMania weekend,
Yes.
let's talk
There
about
was
that
going
big...
to be another match at WrestleMania weekend, although while the match will still take place, precisely who is in it has been thrown into doubt somewhat just recently.
Go on.
What am I cryptically blathering on about? Well, I am, of course, talking about Kurt Angle's retirement match on the grandest stage of them all. A fantastic way to say farewell to a genuine legend of the sport. But what's in doubt, well, it's Kurt Angle's retirement match. So we're not talking about the year 2000.
Let's just state this. Kurt Angle, I am privileged to have been able to watch you. I am so happy that you are able to end your career at WrestleMania. Not many are able to. You are getting the event that you're wanting to end it on. Unfortunately, you may not be getting the opponent that you may want.
No. Well, that's what I was going to say.
As much as
WCW, so Kurt Angle is actually going to be in his retirement match. He's not going to nominate someone else to do it for him or anything silly like that.
Yeah.
However, the potential opponent that they have chosen for him still may not happen because it leaves a little bit to be desired in the eyes of many.
Now, what makes it weird is a lot of people can state that Kurt Angle has actually brought out he went on social media to indicate that he probably wanted somebody else. Kurt Angle's wife has also indicated somebody else. In fact, if I believe, Kurt Angle's wife had to delete a tweet and then put another tweet up.
Oops.
But that's probably because WWE didn't like the fact that she put out a certain tweet, which may put Kurt Angle in hot water. But at the same time,
which implied that the match would feature a certain person who WWE have made no official statement that it would, and it might potentially have got him in hot water. But anyway, the tweet was deleted, and so no long-term harm done. But needless to say,
however,
have we actually mentioned who the proposed opponent is yet?
No, we
don't
haven't.
Think we have. Now might be a good time, eh?
The person who they are referring to is as the last ever match for Kurt Angle is Baron Corbin.
Now, don't get me wrong, Baron Corbin does a good job for what he does.
Kurt Angle stated that as well.
He's a perfectly good wrestler. But, this is Kurt Angle's retirement match. Good doesn't cut it. It needs to be someone befitting the stature of the man who won an Olympic medal,
apologies
and
for
who
this.
has had a 20-year
you'll have to repeat that.
Absolute top level.
You'll have to repeat that. Unfortunately, there was some static. Unfortunately, apologies for that.
The man who won an Olympic gold medal with a broken neck, and who has had in his 20-year career across WWE and TNA, held every title there is, had pretty much 5-star matches with everyone you've ever heard of in the wrestling world in that time.
A part of me...
Baron Corbin is a good wrestler. A good wrestler is not what a legend needs in his retirement match.
Let me just state this. I know both of us were expecting me to get the soapbox out. I'm not actually going to get the soapbox out. Instead, I'm actually going to discuss this very calmly, very productively, and state my reasoning why I think Baron Corbin isn't the right choice. And
fair enough.
And the thing is, this is no knock on Kurt Angle. This is no knock on Baron Corbin. However, in regards to that match, who wins in that situation? Because if Baron Corbin wins, then Kurt Angle goes out on his back, doing what he's been doing recently, putting over great young talent, making them look amazing. But then it gets Baron Corbin a little bit of cheap heat. For how long?
Yeah.
Yes, he could turn around and say, I ended Kurt Angle's career, and then what?
Yeah, how much momentum in the long term does that actually give him?
How much momentum does it give him?
Not a lot.
It wouldn't give him much because from what he's been doing recently, he hasn't got anything behind him. No momentum or anything. Take into account his last pay-per-view, match, lost the Shield. Go straight away there. There's no momentum in regards to it.
But then, have to play devil's advocate here.
But then, if Kurt Angle wins, that damages Corbin.
Go on.
That damages Corbin on a monumentous level.
It really does. It's sort of WWE saying, we don't really have any faith in you because we want a guy who's never going to wrestle again to beat you on the biggest stage of them all, and that's pretty much all you're good for.
And on top of that, basically that'd be almost them saying, we gave up on you as GM, we're now giving up on you as a wrestler.
Yeah, that's not what Corbin needs. But if I could just play devil's advocate for a second, the other proposed opponent that many fantasy bookers like us and fans around the world would like to see, who wins in that situation, and how does it benefit either of them?
It depends on which one you're on about, because I've heard two.
Well, I've heard that there is really only one.
But there is only one.
It was one, and it was the man against whom... the man who, in 2002, made his debut against Kurt Angle.
Let's just let the cat out the bag. John Cena is what you're talking about.
Yeah, who in 2002 made his debut by challenging Kurt Angle. And so it's been said by the internet that it would be fitting for both of them, pretty much, to end their full-time careers with a match. But as I said, who does it benefit to win? If neither, it's kind of like the Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. Which WrestleMania was it? Where they were both leaving, so the crowd booed both of them, and then Austin just stunned the hell out of both of them anyway. Yeah, it's kind of like that situation. Who wins, and does it really benefit either of them?
The difference is Cena isn't going anytime soon. He's still going to be popping in now from time to time. But, as much as in regards to who benefits the way, it doesn't matter. You get to see a epic match. Do you want me to tell you who wins? The frickin' fans. And you know that's true. It's damn true. So,
Cliche 101, but it's true. Yeah, okay.
But the point being is, in that sort of match, it doesn't matter who wins or who loses. You know, there's no damage either side. Whereas with him facing Baron Corbin, there's damage on either side.
I see where you're going with that. I don't necessarily agree. I think Kurt Angle losing to a mid-card guy with no momentum achieves nothing. Him beating him achieves nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
Losing to or beating a guy who isn't there anymore and who's only going to make sporadic appearances also doesn't really achieve anything. Yes, there's the time he made
but
his debut
it's sort
Kurt,
of,
but
it's almost coming round full circle. It's almost like, you're back to where you started.
I can see the logic, but I can also see the flaws in it. So, okay, the interesting question now is, because I haven't heard, who's the other person you've heard that might be in there?
Another person
that might just be fantasy booking, but it might be real because we don't actually know.
It's complete fantasy booking and everything. I know some people were speculating potentially Undertaker. But then again,
Undertaker does seem to keep coming back for a match at WrestleMania every year, though he's sort of winding down.
Correct, but then again, you got Samoa Joe. You've then got AJ Styles, but it's not going to be them because, unfortunately, they have got their own matches.
They're engaged in other feuds at the moment.
But let us get to that shortly, right? But anyway, point being is, it's interesting on how they're in that situation. Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing Cena versus Kurt Angle as he should be able to get who he wants to go out on.
Yeah.
He should.
To be honest, I think it's a real shame that the WWE Universe, as they call themselves, the fans, probably wouldn't buy some of the people I have in mind who could give Kurt Angle his last match and absolutely tear the show down with an absolute wrestling showcase.
Go on.
Because they don't really have the name value. But we know they could... Well, for one, Tyler Bate. For two, Jack Gallagher. Or for three, anyone else from the 205 Live roster.
The point being is, they've actually got more credibility than Baron at the moment because they're actually still wrestling weekly.
Well, that's true. But
Baron,
like I said,
Baron
they would
is
give
wrestling.
Kurt a 5-star classic final match, but are they, in the eyes of the people who follow Kurt's entire career, a big enough name?
Not really, but it could end up catapulting them into a bigger name.
Exactly. Can you imagine the career push it would give someone like Gentleman Jack Gallagher to have a proper wrestling match
Absolutely.
with Kurt Angle of the kind Kurt's capable of?
Absolutely. However, Kurt Angle has slowed down, unfortunately, at the moment, which is possibly one of the reasons why he's decided to give it up, because he feels as though he can't be the same Angle he was years ago.
Which is both logical and sensible.
Right. Now, with that out of the way, let me just state.
Okay.
Let me just state. Thank you very much, Kurt Angle, for the amazing wrestling career that you have showcased in front of ourselves, be it either at Impact Wrestling, TNA, WWE, wherever.
Yeah,
you've been
thank you. You've had an amazing career, and we've been grateful for all of this last 20 years. We really have.
Thank you very much. And just think, his career almost started at ECW.
It nearly did.
It nearly did.
If it wasn't for the fact that the choice of content for the ECW show in question made him change his mind. With hindsight, thank goodness. But who knows what might have been if it hadn't.
Yeah, definitely. But anyway,
see, no spoilers, no giving anything away. Just people who know, and people who don't can look it up when they finish listening.
They can look it up, but please let us just state this. Pinch of salt, and we do apologise for any. Well,
the usual thing. We are not responsible for the content of external sites and may cause offence. So Please be warned ahead of looking it up.
Correct. But anyway, let's move on, shall we?
Indeed.
Which is, we're going to be still on to WrestleMania.
Ooh.
What are your thoughts on WrestleMania currently so far?
Well, considering that it is the showcase of the Immortals, the grandest stage of them all, it's quite underwhelming, to be honest.
It's gone from... To me, it feels like the WrestleMania should be the WrestleMania, the showcase of showcases. The Giants clashing, Battle of the Titans, amazing. Not meh.
Yeah, to be honest, so far, if I had to add it up, I would say that the two shows on WrestleMania weekend, NXT TakeOver New York and WrestleMania, get a combined 10 out of 10. However, in terms of anticipation, from me, it's 8 out of 10 for TakeOver New York and 2 out of 10 for WrestleMania. And that's a sad state of affairs, it really is, for the biggest show of the WWE year. I should be 20 out of 10 or 20 out of 20, whichever way you want to look at it, because I should be absolutely can't wait for both. But yeah, for me with WrestleMania this year, something's lacking. It just isn't there. There just isn't that out and out, oh my God, I can't miss this show feeling. Like there is about the NXT TakeOver.
Correct. And taking into account, NXT have just had a massive loss with Tommaso Ciampa giving up Goldie.
Indeed. Well, not so much giving up as having to have prized away from him, I think.
Well,
but
relinquished.
The result is the same, yeah. But they are capitalising on what could have been a show derailing bit of misfortune and carrying on, whereas WrestleMania hasn't had any show derailing bits of misfortune, but doesn't appear to have a great deal of momentum behind it either.
No, and what probably hasn't helped is the massive messing around of a certain storyline, involving the Raw Women's Championship. Then you've got the SmackDown's Women's Championship, which hasn't even been announced yet. And there's another rumour going around, it might not even be a triple threat anymore, it might be a multi-women match to potential try to help gain whoever gains the championship some momentum.
They actually just can't leave it alone, can they?
They
can't stop stirring until everyone's peed off.
Then you've got the whole Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins, which
will doubtless be a good match, but the problem is there can only be one winner.
Correct, and there has been some speculation that the Beast may be walking away with the championship, but there's been also counter rumours as well that Seth is winning as well. We've then got Roman Reigns versus Drew, which coming from out of nowhere. We've then got Miz We've then got Miz and Shane.
Miz versus Shane, which has not come out of nowhere, but which is not really the kind of match that you'd have thought either man would want at WrestleMania, really. It's not the best use of either of their talents on the biggest show of the year. It's a bit of a sort of, oh, really? Okay,
Yep.
well, you're going to do this, so we can't complain because we're going to get it anyway, but if we had a choice, we don't really want it.
Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio.
Nothing wrong with that. That'll be a belter of a match.
There isn't anything wrong with the match. Right. There isn't anything wrong with the match itself. I have one issue.
Is it really a WrestleMania match?
I have one issue.
Okay, and what's that?
Ready? What happened to Andrade?
Yeah.
Has that feud ended for him and Mysterio?
It would appear so, unless they're simply putting it on hold, which is odd.
Why didn't you just put him into that match, make it triple threat?
Well, to be fair, they
what makes it so weird?
The Fatal 4-Way at Fastlane on the night, so let's not rule anything out. But yeah, it is a little bit odd.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel as though it's just, huh?
A little bit, yeah.
And then we've got Randy Orton versus
there
AJ.
Is also a slight... With that match, there is also a slight hint of if only.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather have a time machine? With both these matches, in fact. So that we can have 2005 vintage, both Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio. And for that matter, 2005 vintage Randy Orton and AJ Styles as well.
Possibly, but at
you
the
know,
same
guys
time,
who are like 13 years younger with less bumps on the clock, who can go at it a little bit harder, that maybe befits WrestleMania. But hey, I'm not saying they won't give it absolutely 110% this year, but you know where I'm coming from.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I think they'll knock it out the park. I think them matches will be absolutely amazing.
No, I'm not saying for a minute they won't. I think they'd have, instead of being 6 stars out of 5, they'd have been 10 stars out of 5.
No, but at the same time,
in the past, vintage guys,
it could still be 10 out of 10 because of their experience. Never diss experience. And let me just state this.
Well, no.
Also, at the same time, you got R-Truth, who has gone off. Who's probably, he failed to regain his championship match, but then he'd still be hunting for it. You've then got Andrade, who's still probably trying to feud with Mysterio. He'd be still hunting for him. It's just the one match where I thought there was going to be a multi-person isn't a multi-person, and a match that I thought wasn't going to be a multi-person is a multi-person.
Yeah, it seems like the booking is somewhat confused. Yeah, I totally agree.
And it feels very, very rushed with a lot of these. Now, take into account, how many matches have we got so far?
That have been announced? Well, you've run through 5 or 6 already.
That's my point. We haven't finished all the championships off yet.
No.
We don't
Still
know
no mention
of tag team championships. Both of them.
For either brand. There's no mention of the Intercontinental title.
Correct.
There's no mention of... I'm just trying to think of... Well, there's no mention of the SmackDown Women's Championship, as far as I'm aware.
Which is what I've just covered.
Actually, no. Oh, okay, which one? The other one. The non-Ronda Rousey one.
Yeah, SmackDown.
Okay, yeah. There's the Raw Women's Championship and the whole fiasco surrounding
which has
that.
been announced, but then that's my point.
Just about the only thing I'm actually looking forward to on the main card. I mean, don't get me wrong, all these matches will be, they'll knock it out of the park. It's WrestleMania and they'll do brilliant. But they don't, well, you have just about the match I'm so far actually looking forward to that they've announced with sensible build-up and that I'm anticipating greatly will probably be on the pre-show.
It feels as though it's more like
Yeah.
it's been run like a regular pay-per-view, but just
Yes.
longer.
But like I say, the match with the perfect build-up, the anticipation, the good booking, okay, so he's done that, so I really want to see that, will probably be on the pre-show. And in case you're wondering, that is the Cruiserweight Championship match, pitting Buddy Murphy against long-time running buddy of his, Tony Nese.
Yes.
Which, if you watch 205 Live regularly, you'll know they held a 16-man single elimination tournament. Or was it 8-man? Anyway, a single elimination tournament, knockout style, and the winner of that tournament earned the right to face the champion, Buddy Murphy, at WrestleMania. Tony Nese won, to the surprise of pretty much everyone on the planet, not named Tony Nese, I think. But he earned his spot, and I know they'll knock the match out of the park. That's old school, building up sensibly, good booking, and that means I care about that match. That, unfortunately, is a really rare thing this year with WrestleMania.
Mm.
As I'm sure you agree, I think the awkward silence implies that you do.
Yep. No arguments from me.
All good. So, yeah, WrestleMania. I'm sure when the time comes and the show goes down, we'll be sitting there going, "This is amazing." They're all performing their asses off.
No, a part of me wants to be
better.
wrong. I want to be wrong, where it's like, that's why it's been done that way. Oh, that's why.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I would love that as well. I would love nothing more than to be proved wrong and have everything make sense on the night and all the build-up click into place, and then the matches be brilliant as well.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, can't see it happening in too many cases.
We're having to rely on hindsight, which has me scared.
Yeah, and as we say, with 2 weeks to go, there's still quite a lot of matches, including championship matches, which haven't even been booked. So that's a little bit of a...
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that's possibly going to be all we're going to be able to cover this week.
That's cool. We should just mention next week.
Well, I'm going to mention two things about next week, which is I'll be mentioning a topic that we are going to cover.
Cool.
Which is WWE music, which is like like our current events at the moment. Most music has been done by, I believe, which is it CFO Dollar?
CFO $ is the official. Well, that's what that is written down. I've no idea. I've never heard it said out loud, so I don't know. Correct.
But we are going to be talking about some of the WWE music, with them involving possibly even talking about, the master of the cool entrance music, Jim Johnson. So I'm going to talk
of course,
about some...
we can't talk about entrance music without talking about the guy who pretty much, after WWE invented it in the 80s, the guy who pretty much made it what it is.
Correct. But at the same time...
We are wrestling fans of a certain age, and we can probably still hum the 10 biggest stars of the 80s themes now, even though we probably haven't heard most of them for at least 10 years. They're that good. So there's that in mind.
They're that good, and they haven't aged with time. They are timeless.
Indeed.
That they are. But anyway, we're going to be talking about that next week, and probably talk about some great theme music that we both like as well, and everything.
Yep.
But we'll save that for next week. However, next week's episode will be a pre-recorded episode, just to make everyone aware. The reason being is, unfortunately, this is due to myself, because I've got I've got the major equipment that we need to be able to run the broadcast, and unfortunately, I am actually having to attend a wrestling show.
There's no unfortunately about it. You are doing what you love. You're attending a wrestling show, which means...
No. I say unfortunate because I can't be here for everybody.
No, I'm
live.
with you.
But I will just state, it is not unfortunate I will be at FCW because they actually do put on a stellar show, which FCW stands for Future Championship Wrestling. I recommend everybody give them a check out. As always check out your local wrestling. I will be there in attendance doing commentary for FCW.
Cool. Yeah, so we will have a show next week. It just won't be live.
Correct.
We'll be discussing the music of WWE and anything else which might come up between now and then, which we don't know about yet.
Correct.
Could possibly be anything.
Who knows? We could be bringing up some old topics as well. Who knows?
We could.
But anyway, with that, I think that's going to be a nice wrap up for the for information for this week, and I'm going to have to pretty much get onto our plugs, which
cool.
Right. Let's try
Here comes the moment in the show, ladies and gentlemen, where I take a back seat, Matt Burns takes a deep breath, and runs through all our plugs.
Please check out UKWA, also known as UK Wrestling Alliance. Check them out on their social media, of course, as well, and the website. Please check out UK Wrestling Media, of course, also known as UKWM. They do absolutely fantastic work, especially with videography, photography, and everything. Please check out Manchester Pro Wrestling Academy. They do have some beginner classes, which are on Mondays. £10 per class, 7 p.m, 9 p.m. But of course, please, if there are any location details, please check out on their social media. I believe that Manchester Pro Wrestling Academy is also running their own, academy shows as well, which is very interesting. Please check it out. Please check out JT Printing and Stitching, as they do some great embroidery work. And of course, please check out, charities like Mind and Changes. Also, Changes, Changes for Health and Wellbeing, not Changes UK, which their website is www.changes.org. .co.uk. The information can prove useful. It's absolutely amazing. Please check out Team 4-Star. Please check out some bands like The New Breed and of course Kamens. And as always, please check out Botchamania and WrestleCrap. We've got to fit you in. As always, please check out some YouTuber known as Philip DeFranco. He actually does some great news covers and everything. And does it in such an entertaining way and keeps you up to date with even on American politics. He does such an amazing job, but he also covers some news from around the world as well. Please check out When Fandom Strikes, which she also has a YouTube channel and of course TikTok. Please check out Luke Moto, who's also on YouTube. He does a vlog, quite regularly. And please, of course, check out fellow podcaster, Geek of the Week, which is hosted by Magic Mark Adams. And, of course, please check out Turnbuckle TV, which is regularly getting new companies and getting fresh wrestling content on there as well. And, of course, please always check out your local wrestling shows. And just to name a few, United Wrestling, Academy Pro Wrestling, Future Championship Wrestling, Fusion Pro Wrestling for You, and many, many, many more. And, of course, UKWA. And last but not least, please check out the Burning Truth website, which is www.theburningtruthuk.com, where it could be the place where you're listening to us live right now. It could be where you'd be possibly listening to this as a past episode, past interviews. We also got show reviews on there, be it audio and also written. We've also got merchandise on there for snazzy t-shirts and office mugs. Unfortunately, the blog's on hiatus at the moment. We have got a contact page if you want to get in touch with us. We have got a links page, but let me just state some of the following things that we have covered on here are on there. But let us just stress this. If you do click on any of the links, we are not held responsible for what external links. We please don't hold us responsible for anything that you may
for
find
the content
inappropriate.
of external links.
Correct.
There you go.
thank you very much for jumping in on that one. Of course, please check out our social media, which is Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and of course Twitter. But the Twitter handle's spelled a little bit differently, which is WRESLING4THWALL. And of course, we have got some past episodes of The Burning Truth on Spotify. And that is, I'd say that's a wrap up for this week.
I'd say so. Fantastic.
Thank
you very much for listening.
Thank you very much for listening. And of course, we will be back next week. But just remember, it's a pre-recorded episode. But until then, I recommend everyone to stay well, stay safe, and as I've always, please, please, check out your local wrestling. So that's a goodbye from myself.
Ta-ta now. Bye-bye then.
And a goodbye from John Ballore. Till next week, catch you laters.